founder built an entire career in the RV industry, podcast, conference, even sold a software company, and just started a new one. But his LinkedIn, it was leaving partnerships, and deals on the table. He's not just another founder trying to figure out his story. He's already got the credibility. He just needed a clearer way to show it. In this Clarity Jam, we turned his LinkedIn into a partner magnet.
Keith Paget, and I'm an entrepreneur and traveling dad.
Awesome. I'd love to hear it. And I'm super excited to have you on for this Clarity Jam series that I've been doing. So it sounds to me, before I dive into it, want to tell me a little bit more about your story and how you got into the businesses that you're in right now?
Yeah, so 10 years ago, I got a job in software sales right out of college and realized I did not love it and wanted to do something a bit more exciting and fun, something that filled up my bucket. So most 20-year-olds think that travel will solve all of their life problems, and that was definitely the case for us. We decided we'd road trip around the country for a year and then go back and get jobs. And we ended up loving it and ended up creating a business that allowed us to sustain being from anywhere. So we did video projects and then it scaled into like lots of different paths. But the essential theme in our work ended up being RV world, RV life, and the camping space. All of our businesses, for the most part, have circulated in this RV camping world. So a podcast, a conference, and then like video and clients. And then eventually I started a software company and sold it in the camping space and now have another one. And so that was how we got into what we're doing now.
I love it. It's kind of the trademark of a really successful, like, good founder, solving your own itch and figuring out a way that solves a lot of other people's problems as well.
Yeah, it's either a good trait or a lack of creativity in that I only see opportunities if it has a handful of wheels and a big box or something.
I feel like that's probably a really good trait more than bad because you've already verified that you have that problem. So it's just about if you know your market and your audience well enough, then typically that tends to work out pretty well.
I would say there's also a lot of compound interest. People talk about that in money, but in relationships and when you're in an industry for a long time and then you decide to do something else, like feel like I'm starting after 10 years in the space, getting compound interest and credibility because it's like, oh, you've done these things in the space. So it's like now if I call somebody or reach out, they'll respond because they're like, okay, I've heard of you or I've been loosely assured. You know what I mean? Some things get easier too.
Oh, absolutely. Like, there's definitely relationship compound interest and also just like being in the RV space. And I can imagine 2020 and 2021 were a very interesting time in your world.
Yeah, it was. It ended up being a net positive for the outdoor camping space for sure.
If you want to pull up your LinkedIn profile, you can dive into it. I know you and I were talking off the record about how to tell your story when you've done so many different things.
So here's my LinkedIn. Like I was telling you, a lot of times people ask me what I do, and it's like, oh, I have a startup or I do startups or whatever. But if I pull up my LinkedIn, and I used to have all these different jobs I did when I did. I think I met you when I was doing, or maybe after our hourly America trip, where I worked a job in all 50 states, and we did like for a while. I actually had all those jobs on my LinkedIn. I took them off because they were really crowded. So I don't really talk about that a lot. I don't talk about this podcast that I did for 5 years and like did 200 episodes. So my about is not very long. I'll read you my about real quick, which is I love building companies, traveling with my family, and working with awesome people. For 6 years, my wife and I travel full time in RV. During that time, I started top ranked travel pod. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to read all this, but you tell me where you want me to go on this.
No, go on. If you want to read that entire thing, that's awesome.
Okay. During this time, I started a top ranked travel podcast turned conference called RV Entrepreneur, co-founded and sold Campground the Camping World, and worked alongside brands like Winnebago to execute national marketing campaigns like for their Winnebago Revel. In 2021, I bought a piece of property to build a co-working/campground space, but decided to put it on pause after our second child was born. Currently ideating on what's next while spending time with my family and doing some investing, real estate, RV industry, tech. This is actually not even current because I've since started a new business. So I actually have a new bio I should probably be putting here.
Yeah. I mean, that is so classic thing that I see I encounter all of the time where there's so many different, like, where you're doing so many things and suddenly you realize that you haven't looked at your LinkedIn profile or your about page in months or even sometimes years. The question I had for you is who is the ideal person that you want seeing your LinkedIn profile and who are you trying to, who are you kind of optimizing for?
I think right now, in the way that I've kind of been using LinkedIn is industry partners. And so Not like, I guess it could be like somebody who could be considered an investor for RV Help, but we're not really soliciting investors from LinkedIn. So I would say really it's just like the industry leaders as a whole in the space. Like if we want to partner with them, work with them, like keep them in touch on like what we're doing. Yeah, that would be my target audience on LinkedIn.
Totally. The reason I was asking that is because your about page definitely reads like a story, which is amazing. If you just want to kind of, build awareness and have a personal brand or thought leadership. However, if it sounds like you're trying to get more people, like more partners, with your second software business now, maybe make your about page just a little bit more I always find like writing it a little bit, telling a little bit about yourself, but also writing it in a way where it's what is the obvious win? What's in it for a partner? Like, why would they want to reach out and connect with you or message you? I'm
Right.
going to throw that back to you.
I'm thinking about that. It's a good question. I would say because we're building something that's actually really unique and complementary to what a lot of like businesses offer. Like for example, like KOA is a big brand, and I'd love to get to work with them. And so I mean, I've talked to them a little bit, but like it's what we're doing is not really competitive to them. It's complementary. So it's like we're solving something big that affects a lot of people in the industry, and it actually could be like a net positive to like get involved. So in my mind, like that's been why people have responded, because they're like they recognize the pain point and they're excited that somebody's working on it. And so I think sharing that story and that like exciting problem that we're focusing on solving could be useful.
Awesome. What is kind of that big, exciting problem that you are solving?
That right now, if your RV something breaks, it takes like 2 or 3 months to get it fixed. And so you may have like bought this RV to take your family on fun road trips. But if you call a lot of service shops, they're like 2 or 3 months like waitlisted, and they just take forever to get you in. So your RV ends up just like sitting in a lot all summer instead of going on road trip or taking your family out. And we solve it by connecting you with people who can come directly to you, get it taken care of quickly through mobile text, and it doesn't leave you stranded or like missing your camping season because your RV is like sitting there waiting for someone to take care of it.
So I can totally see. So if I'm a big, campground provider out there and I don't necessarily know the space super well, if I'm a big campground provider, I'm going to assume kind of that value prop is, hey, if, someone who would have broken down at RV probably might be canceling their next trip or their next kind of road trip because their RV is in the shop. You partner with them to make that a lot faster, and that means more bookings for the campground. Would that be accurate?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's less people canceling their trips or their trip going better because they found somebody who could quickly come out and take care of them.
Tell me a little bit more about what has been some of the partnerships that have worked well for you and some of the things that they've gotten from it.
Well, so far, like we're pretty new. Like we only launched 4 months ago, but we've had a lot of really great conversations and a little bit of traction, but nothing launched yet with some manufacturers. And so that seems like a really obvious fit where they have a lot of customers who need help getting their RVs taken care of, and they can struggle finding, they just want them to get taken care of quickly. They don't really care how it's done. They just want them to get taken care of. And so I think those would be another good example of people that we'd love to have great relationships with, because we want to be able to help, like we have a mutual goal, essentially, if that makes sense.
So would you kind of say that all of these kind of partnerships kind of would be kind of around helping RVers with both ease of use as well as convenience?
Yeah, exactly. It's about making like kind of simplifying your ownership of your RV, but then also like having an outlet to get it taken care of whenever you have a problem.
Totally. And if you don't mind, if you want to go back to your LinkedIn,
Yeah.
I was going to ask a little bit about what had in the featured section.
Oh, yeah, this is super old, but I guess it takes up a lot of eye space. I don't even know how to get to, I guess I haven't touched this in 8 years, but it was just like stuff from my podcast and the summit that I used to host. It might be more relevant to show like some media articles or something from RB Help launch.
I feel like the summit actually could be kind of interesting because it shows that you're in the space and that you're not
Yeah.
only in the space, you've actually hosted events and conferences in there to give you credibility. But maybe I did the podcast is great, but have you thought about having a partnership page, like an affiliate page, ideally a partnership page, or even a one pager where it's like, hey, here's what RV helped us. Here's what we saw. We're all about convenience and ease of use and making sure that our customers don't get, derailed on their trips because their RV breaks down. and then be like, hey, here's kind of the partnership. And ideally, even if you're still new on, be like, here's the type of partners that we are talking to, and here's what we can offer. So it's a very quick one pager. And the other part of that as well, and this is more of a LinkedIn hack, but if you just make all of it be your headline and you get rid of the text, it becomes only one click to be able to click off to your site wherever you want them, as opposed to it's 2 clicks if you have text in there. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Honestly, I hadn't looked at this at all, and now I'm like, "Oh, I've got even this one, I could feature this." Now this is actually, like, a relevant thing instead of showing something from, 8 years ago. So, I
Absolutely.
have something that's actually, like, introducing our company and something that's a useful, relevant item.
Yeah, and then, to add on to that, one thing you might even wanna do, and I actually think introducing RB help, is fine, but I would maybe get rid of the description. And then for the RV Entrepreneur Summit, maybe just put in there being like, "Hey, we had X hundred or X dozen or X thousand people come to our event," because that just instantly gives you even more credibility in that space.
Oh, okay. I guess I can go into these and add, like, update the meta, huh?
Yeah, so get rid of the meta altogether and just put what you want within the headline. So it should just be introducing RV help, an easier way to get RV servers. That
Uh-huh.
makes sense right now. And I would just get rid of everything from nothing to the Webster, and then yeah.
Okay. Nice. I'll have to look and see if I can how to do that. Okay, cool. That's good feedback.
And then something else you might want to think about is just if you really want to drive partnerships, maybe making it be the RV Entrepreneur Summit be kind of the third one. So it's still there and it still gives you credibility, but you have a one pager. It could be a landing page. It could even be a Google Doc that's just like, hey, partner with us. And it just becomes that really simple way to kind of get people to take your desired call to action.
Yeah, I like that.
And the same actually goes if you want to scroll up into your one liner, which is still fine. But something you might want to do is if you have access to premium or you're open to premium, use the CTA button so you can be like, hey, become a partner or schedule a call. That's just an easy way to get more people who maybe only look above the fold,
Mhm.
interested in why they might want to chat with you. Ditto goes with your cover photo, which is great. Love the RV, but maybe have the RV, but also add something on top of the RV where it just kind of said yeah, a little bit about RV health or something like that.
Oh, I have to reactivate premium to change my cover photo.
Well,
Interesting.
that's interesting. Premium is still decent just to have access to the custom CTAs because then you can
Yeah.
get a custom CTA next to where it says enhanced profile. And you can literally just say, book an appointment, schedule a call, become a partner, whatever kind of desired CTA is at that moment. And because it's above the fold, along with your cover photo, it's going to make it that much easier and more obvious why someone on your who might see you in their feed instantly wants to partner with you.
That's a good point, yeah. This is, super helpful. It's my first time to get, like, real-time feedback on my LinkedIn, which clearly has not had a lot of love.
I mean, hey, you're way ahead of a lot of you're already like way ahead just making these tweaks to your cover photo, adding a CTA, and just changing up your about say page. So just as a little bit more about what RV help is and the types of partners that you want could go a long way.
Oh, I didn't even have a
Yeah.
website link on here.
That too.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions you have before we wrap?
No, this was super helpful. Thank you so much.